So JD, as I said, Messenger was going to be here today, and he called on Thursday and said he'd heard about the forecast of feet of snow, not just inches of snow, but feet of snow. And so he was coming from Houston, and he decided that he might postpone and come later. But his talk and what his project is now is called The Binding Force. Basically the idea that what connects us, what binds us together, is greater than what we allow to separate us. And so I thought, well, I hadn't really prepared to talk about that, but it was beautiful because I love the way the universe works, because I don't always know what's going to happen, do you? But something out there knows and can help direct us. And so Monday I usually try to take the day off. And so Monday morning I had some things to do, errands and appointments and things I did. And so by early afternoon I thought, okay, I'm just going to relax. And I think I just want to be entertained. So I went into our TV room and thought, okay, I'm just going to watch a movie. And there are thousands of movies available streaming into your home these days, right? So I went on and I thought, okay, I'll just watch something that I think would be inspiring and entertaining. And I was flipping through, and the movie Avatar came on the screen. And I thought, well, I've seen it, but I really remember liking it, so I'll watch it. And if I fall asleep, I won't miss anything anyway. So I decided to watch it. But obviously I didn't fall asleep. I didn't fall asleep because I was reminded of the spiritual truth that is in that story. And how many of you have seen Avatar? Some of you haven't. But it is a story about, James Cameron wrote and directed and produced this movie. And it's a story about a group of people from Earth. It's a futuristic fantasy, really, and it's about people who from Earth that go to this planet called Pandora. And they go because there on Pandora is this mineral that they want to harvest and use on Earth for power source, I think. I don't remember exactly why they wanted to use it, but it was valuable. So this party goes to source this mineral and bring it back. And part of that is that they create these avatars who are beings that inhabit this planet called, what is the planet? Pandora. And so they create these avatars that can interact. They have the DNA of this Na'vi people and humans, so that they can live in the environment on Pandora. I know it's a lot of explanation, but the idea is that these human Na'vi people begin to interact with the Na'vi, the native people. And one of them gets through a interaction, becomes accepted by the tribe. And the idea is that the Na'vi people are really connected to the earth, to their planet, not the earth. But they live in harmony with their surroundings, that they connect with the energy that moves through life, that connects them with the animals and with the plants and with the planet. And you see this light energy that is moving through the plants, and just this spirit, this life that connects everything. And these people listen, and they feel, and they even they just sense the life energy in everything, and they're connected to each other, to their surroundings, and to the animals. And so when this earth person, hybrid person comes, and he's all into how to figure it out and what to do and how to survive and how to manipulate things and how to just, get what he wants from these people. But then he's embraced by them, and the the mother, the matriarch of the tribe, talks to him, and I love this because she said, "We will teach you our ways, and we will see if your insanity can be cured." We will see if your insanity can be cured. And I thought, yes, that is sort of it. Eckhart Tolle talks about that in The Power of Now, that because we get so caught up in our minds, that we are insane. I looked up insanity in the dictionary, and it says disordered or thinking that is deranged thinking. And so to me that meant, disordered, not in alignment, not clear thinking. And so I think many of us are sort of in that place of not clear thinking. I used last week in my talk the allegorical story of Adam and Eve, and especially Eve in the garden when the serpent tempts her to eat from the fruit, basically. And what I talked about around that is that the serpent in the story represents for us, I think, that deranged thinking, that insanity, that focuses on the things of the earth, the world, and the learning, and the misperceptions, and the lies, really, that we are told from a very young age, that we accept as who we are. This idea that we are separate, this idea that we are separate from God, the idea that we're separate from each other, separate from the earth, separate from the plants and the animals, and that we have to do whatever we can to survive in this world because we're all alone in it, in some ways. And that is our deranged thinking. That is the insanity. In fact, Eckhart Tolle says that sin and insanity are the same thing. In the story that when Eve disobeyed God, which I believe was just not listening to that inner knower, the truth of her being, not following the guidance of her spirit, her soul that she's connected to, that is what in traditional Christianity we call sin. Eckhart Tolle relates that to insanity. So we could say whatever we think of, and when we're attached to that thinking, and Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, talked about sin as error thinking. And so when we're in that thinking that is attached to believing that this learning needs to be in control, that this, what we have learned to associate as who we are, needs to be in control rather than the connection with life itself, then we could say that we are insane. Or we could say that that is what sin is. And so part of that is, I think about, how does that demonstrate for us? How do we demonstrate that in our lives? And what came to me about that is that all of the isms are demonstrations or manifestations of our insanity. And I think about that as racism, sexism, heterosexism, as ageism, as consumerism, all of those isms. And I think the ism, the ISM, is I separate myself from that source, the awareness of that source that connects me, who I truly am, to everything else in manifestation and beyond what is in manifestation. But that the same source, that sources me in my truth, is the same source that sources you, that sources every animal on the planet, every plant, that sources the planet itself, that sources all that is. And when I separate myself through whatever ism I want to attach to or think about, then I truly am insane. Or I am, if you want to use that terminology, I am in sin. And I know in unity we don't like that word. But in separation from my divine nature, because in our divine nature, we really are one with all that is. And we can sense that, we can feel that, we can experience that. I think that what do I want to say about that? I want to ask us just for a moment, all of us, just to close our eyes. And just to move our awareness from that mental energy. And I invite you just to take a breath and notice that you're breathing. Notice that breath is happening now. Notice that you are aware of breath. Notice your physical body. Just invite your awareness of the physical body. Feel your feet against the floor. Feel the chair supporting your body. And just notice that you are aware of breath, of body, of the floor, of the chair. And notice that through the power of your focused awareness, you become aware. That you are that power to decide, to intend where your awareness is focused. Simply by choosing to bring your awareness, bring it into your conscious awareness. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, says that consciousness is pivotal. And it pivots based on your intention. Where do you choose to focus? What do you choose to be aware of in the moment? And notice that you are aware of the chair and the floor and the body and the breath. Notice the subject-object relationship there. That you are the one who is aware of those ideas, those concepts, the idea of chair, the idea of body, the idea of breath, the idea of self. And so as you notice that you are aware, you notice that you cannot be that. If I am aware of it, it is something that is in the content of my consciousness. I am consciousness itself. And now I want to invite you just to invite awareness of energy. Just notice that there is life energy moving through your body, that you are aware of through your sense of touch and even a sense that is beyond the physical senses. As you open your awareness to a greater sense, a sense of knowing that is right there in the center of your being, you know that there are senses that are gifts of the Creator that are beyond these physical senses, that each and every one of us possesses. Clear sensing, clairsentience, if you might say that. Clear hearing, or clear audience, or clear seeing, or clairvoyance. That we see, and we hear, and we sense through our focused awareness of something that exists beyond any concept of mind, any learning, any idea of a separate self. That we open our awareness to that force that binds us, to the life that lives us, to the energy from which we arise, and we hear, and we see, and we sense something beyond. As we allow ourselves to have the experience of the unmanifest, the source, the energy, the power, the force. And as you listen, and as you see, and as you feel, Charles Fillmore also said you have to feel after God. You don't think after God, you feel after God. Feel that power and that presence moving in you. Feel the energy, the power and the presence moving as that which you perceive as a chair. Feel the energy, the power and the presence moving as the one that you perceive on either side or in the front or back of you. Feel, sense, see, hear God moving as all that we perceive to be in form. Feel your connection to the allness that is. God, source. God is the source of all that I am. God is all that I am. I like to say, God is all that I am, but I'm not all that God is. God is all of that. And God is all that I am, you are, in truth. God is all that I am, that the earth is in its divine essence. And I am one and connected in and through and as that life. And so take another deep breath. Just breathe that awareness back into your body. Again, feeling the energy, vibration of life, living you, breathing you, beating your heart. When you're ready, just open your eyes again. And I find that for me these days is an essential practice. Because I notice when I get into my isms, I don't do it intentionally, but I know that there are aspects of my training, my learning, my way of learning how to be in the world that are sort of default. And the thing that's really on my heart today is my own ism around, and this is related to the song, is consumerism. And I want you to know I'm not pointing a finger, because what I know is that when I point a finger, I've got 3 more pointed back at me. And so our ism around being consumers of the earth, and am I really aware of how getting what I want affects the world and other people, our environment, the earth? And I'm aware that our teaching in New Thought and Unity, I think, has in some ways, and again, I'm still working with this, I think in some ways it has contributed to our consumerism, in that we have been taught that we can have whatever we want. If we think about it and we feel it and we believe it, and anything that we want, we can create. And so I'm questioning whether that is really the intent of our teaching. That we focus on what we want out here. Is that really the intent of our teaching? I think I want me, and I want to support us in really looking at what I believe is the true intent of what we're teaching. It's not about wanting things out here. It's about looking at what it is that we truly want to experience of God. The God experience that we want to have, that somehow someone has told us that we need something out here to give it to us. I have to have the right car, I have to be wearing the right clothes, or I have to live in a big house, or if I just take the right drug, I'll have the experience I want to have. If I get the things that I think represent what I really want, then I'll have what I really want. And I'm not saying it's bad to want those things. What I'm saying is I think it's important for me to look at what is it that I really desire, and to look for myself and to know if whether my getting what I think I want out here is impacting someone else in a way that is not in alignment with what I believe to be our oneness and our truth. If for me to wear a cheap suit requires somebody in China to be enslaved, then that isn't really in alignment with my values. If me getting what I want means that the earth is raped or our environment is polluted, is it really in alignment with what I believe is my unity and oneness with all creation? Am I really living my values? Again, I am pointing to me, my awareness, my consciousness. But I think when we're talking about the force that binds us, the life that binds us, that it's incumbent upon me to honor that. To honor the earth and the animals and the plants and to honor my fellow human beings. And to know how my choices on a day-to-day basis affect all of that. Because I believe ultimately knowing unity, knowing oneness, knowing my connection, and living from that knowing is the greatest desire that we have. And yet, I often live in that place of insanity or sin or whatever word you want to call it, lack of consciousness. Eckhart Tolle in his book says that when Jesus was on the cross and he said, "Forgive them, they know not what they do," what he was saying was there's not enough consciousness in them. They're not aware of what they're doing is affecting everything else. You know? So it's about consciousness and choosing where we focus our consciousness. And really being honest with ourselves. Myself. But what is most important to me in living my value around connection? I remember one of the scenes from the movie where one of the women, the natives, chose to kill an animal because that animal was about to attack this human. And when she went over to kill it, and she killed the animal because she shot it and then it was suffering, and so she put her hand on the animal and thanked it and gave it a blessing and honored the life of the animal. And that was touching for me because it really was a great example of honoring all life. Honoring all life. And to me I guess that's where I'm at today. Is honoring the life that is in me and knowing the same life is in all creation. How do I respond to that? What actions do I take? What choices do I make from that place of knowing? And I'm just inviting us all into questioning ourselves and curiosity about when we get lost in that mind chatter, when we get lost in the teaching or learning that somehow separates us, not just from ourselves, but from all creation, and choosing to pivot our consciousness, making a choice to, instead of focusing there, to allow ourselves to be focused and filled with the awareness of that one power and one presence that connects us all. And to allow the wisdom of that knowing to guide us, to direct us, to move us. My favorite thing from the movie is when the two people come together and they say, I see you. I really see you. I see you beyond what I think of you. I see you beyond your image, your body. I see you beyond how you show up. I see you. And so I invite us to focus on that, to see, I would even say, look in the mirror. Practice this week and say to that reflection in the mirror, I see you. I see you. And notice the judgments that begin to pop in your mind. Choose to focus, I see you. I see you. And then take that out into your world. I see you. I see you. And see if your life begins to transform.